What's up, YouTube? It's your boy DR2727. Shout out to my Transformers collectors, 1/12 scale collector, whatever you collect, shout out to you. And this month's video for November 2022 is where will third party be in 5 years? And first, I want to apologize for not having a video sooner. Life has just been beating me up, but luckily I did something about it and I fought back, and I'm beating life up now, so I'm able to do videos. And this all started from TFCon, kind of. I think we all pretty much agree this is a lackluster TFCon. And shout out to Deluxe Ball when he coined this term, where will third party be in 5 years? I think he did it 5 or 6 years ago. So go check him out. Hell Hasbro reviews. Deluxe a solid dude. But anyway, he coined the term, what will third party be in 5 years? And with third party having a lackluster TFCon reveal, I think it's time to revisit that question. So let's rewind the clocks back 5 years. And 5 years ago, third party was a bustling business or franchise. You had a plethora of companies making the same scale, making different scales, having niche releases. We had niche scales. It was the land of milk and honey. So what happened? I think that things go from abundant to scarce very quickly when it's oversaturated. And I think that the Transformers market was oversaturated. It was too many companies making the same figure, making different figures when it's only so many fans who care about this stuff at the level that third party was charging. And so I think that basically, it cut its nose to spite its face because there was so many options, only so many characters to do. It's hard to stay in business like that. So I think that it was just the business eating itself, and basically only the strong survive. So that brings us to where we are now. And if you look around third party or just Transformers in general, you have a duality. So in MP, you have Fans Toys and x-transbots. Legend scale, you have New Age, Magic Square. Non-transforming Transformers, you have Flames Toys and 3-0. And you have MMC doing Chug, but that's pretty much died off, and it's Hasbro only doing it. So like I think that in those niche releases we talked about earlier, they're a thing of the past. You have new companies like King Toys trying to stick around, but only time will tell. I think this finally gets us to answer the question, what will third party be in 5 years? I think that what we're seeing now is kind of where third party will be. It'll be a smaller number of companies. And I think that the newer companies will come in and do something like either tackle new iterations like animated or, Prime, probably do some of those gap fillers for Beast Wars. It'll tackle some of those younger Transformers lines, and they'll probably do stuff like reimagine G1. So like maybe they'll do a new scale that we haven't thought of. But I think that that's where newer companies stay in. As far as the older companies, I think we're seeing the companies who are going to be around. I think that Fans Toys is going to, slow play their G1. I think they have a design for every G1 character, and I think they're going to try to slow play this out or play this out to where they get all their designs out. And it may be smaller releases, but at higher price points. But I think that that's their goal, to basically do all G1 characters. I think the x-transbots is definitely going to be around. I think that out of everybody, I think Keith has the most money, and these are side projects for everybody. I think that Keith has the most money. He has the most resources, and he listens to the community. He makes smart business decisions. So I think he's gonna move around and kind of find out what the consumer wants next. You can see him trying that with a Deathosaurus. He's trying to tackle Victory, tackle obscure brands, do other stuff with Transformers. I think he's smart enough to do that. I actually think that the x-transbots / KFC will be the first one to do these lesser known newer Transformer brands. I think the Legend Scale, New Age, and Magic Square keep fighting each other. I think they're going to knock each other off. And I think the only way that they survive, and I think they're moving forward, that what they will be doing is transitioning to doing the other brands. I think that Bayverse is something that's proven pretty well, pretty popular in like MP, and from Hasbro standpoint, I think that they'll have to do Bayverse. I think they'll, like everything else, they'll do Beast Wars, they'll do these other lines, because that's the only way they're going to stay in business 5 years from now. Because the way that the pace those two are going, they would have done the full G1 lineup pretty much in the next year or two. And so like, how do they stay around? How do they stay afloat? I think you have to start tackling other things, other brands. And that's kind of going to be a theme here. Like the way that some of these companies are going to stay afloat is by tackling some of these other brands in whatever scale they do. And I know that both of these companies have tried to step up into the MP scale for different things. New Age has done, a Bayverse figure. Magic Square has been living on their primes, but I don't know how much they can do at the MP scale, because Magic Square stuff and MP scale doesn't really translate. And New Age doing Bayverse stuff, that's a limited character set. And pretty much most people are happy with the iterations they got. Of course, we can use a Sentinel Prime, we can use some RCs, and some other characters that we can use. And that may be a better thing for them, spreading their wings more than doing still doing that G1 train legend scale, doing that those other brands legend scale, and then branching off into MP Bayverse bots, maybe even Magic Square, still doing that, that G1 kind of finishing up that, doing the other brands that we're talking about and branching out and doing more MP figures. Maybe that's the way they stay around and be relevant 5 years from now, which is a huge gamble, even if they're going to be the cheap alternative to the current 3P brands. But that brings us to our next company, MMC. I think they're the most interesting company to talk about because they're the biggest company who are at a relaunch point. I talked about them kind of dropping the reformatted brand, which was an iconic brand a couple of months ago. Check that video out. And I think that they are at a crossroads because they are trying this new line that I don't know how popular it's going to be. They kind of shut down the reformatted line, like I said before. So where do they go from here? Like, they have kind of the Remax and the Ocular Max stuff that doesn't come out frequent enough to kind of keep them going. So how could they stay around for 5 years? I think that they have to recreate something iconic like they did with the reformatted line and to rebrand themselves. And I think they're smart enough to do it. And this leads me to my bold prediction for third party in 5 years. I think that there's some third party, I'm not saying MMC, but some third party that will start a new line of self-transforming robots, like the Robots and Robot, the Prime that's out. I think there's a third party company that will come along and do, I'm not gonna say every character, but a lot of, maybe every season one character, a lot of main characters for this line. And I think that that'll be the next wave in 5 years going forward with third parties. That it'll be maybe not MP. I don't know the scale, but they'll have self-transforming robots, and it'll be more software, more more of that robotics type stuff tied into it. And I think that that's what third party will head in the future. What are your thoughts on what third party will be in 5 years? Please leave a comment, and thank you guys for watching as always.